Hello all, Tech Enthusiastic here. We are trying to solve another LeetCode problem, number 23, merge case sorted list. It's a hard problem mentioned by LeetCode. This question has been asked by mainly Amazon and Facebook in the last few months. So the problem definition is merge case sorted linked list and return it as one sorted list. Analyze and describe its complexity. So the input is there are case sorted list here. So in the input actually k has not been mentioned. Actually there is the length of this list. The interesting thing is that actually each of the element is a list which is a linked list, and what we want to do actually we want to merge all these values. And how we want to merge all these values? We want to take the smallest element of these all the element, and that would be the first node of this thing. And if there are multiple of one, then actually will multiple items will be in this list. So that's the one important part. So how we can solve this problem? So one of the easiest way to solve this problem might be we can traverse the whole linked list, and based off all the numbers we can figure out what is the minimum one, and then we can just get the values. So what do I mean by that? That actually for example in a array we can store all the values like 1, 4 and 5, then 1, 3 and 4 and 2 and 6, and we can sort this whole array in n log n time and then get the value. But for this problem we want to solve it in a different way. How we want to solve it? So we want to store these values 1, 4, 5, 1, 3, 4 and 2, 6 in a priority queue. And in a priority queue, how we want to store it? That each of the element, so we will, if there are k linked list here, we want to store in a priority queue where the number of element will be k. And for kth element in the priority queue, we want to compare only the first element for all of these 1, 1 and 2. We want to pick the minimum of these three, and then actually we want to create a new node of that value. For example, 1 will picks up. So whenever we picks up this 1, we want to update that priority queue with the next value of this list. And in the second time we will compare that 4, 1, 4, these 1 and 2, and 1 would be the minimum. We will pick this 1 and we'll update the priority queue with the next value, so that at that time the priority queue will contain 4, 3 and 2, and we'll pick the next one. So that's how actually we will go ahead and solve the problem. So let's go ahead and check few corner cases. So if our list is null, or our list length is 0, then we want to return null. Otherwise our k would be the list length. Our result will contain, and the result will be a list node, so our result will contain at the beginning it will be a null. So we want to create a priority queue which will contain list node, you can name it PQ, and these will be priority queue, and the comparator would be so we want to compare a dot value minus b dot value, That means it's like saying that actually we want to the comparator will be the from the smallest to the largest. So now what we want to do actually for each of the element in our list, okay, we want to get the first value from the list. So what does that mean? That means actually the list I represents the head of this linked list. That means 1. And if our this first item is not null, we want to add it to our priority queue. Now what we want to do actually, we want to remove the element from the priority queue while this priority queue has any element. We want to remove the value and for the first case our result contain actually the result head. So if our result is still null, that means for the first node what we want to do actually, we want to create a new list node which will be a head for the results, and it would be a node dot value, and our current would be this result. If the result is not null, then we want to add this value to the current next. And update the current to the next. And if our node dot next not equal to null, then what we want to do actually, we want to, so from the priority queue we remove the first element. So at the beginning in the priority queue we have these one and these one and these one, all the head of this list. So whenever we removed one of the element, we want to update that priority queue with that second next value of this linked list. So the node that next is not equal to null, we want to add this value into the priority queue. And finally we want to return these results. Let's see if there is any compilation error. So there seems like a typo there. Oh, there is one more a dot value b dot value. So let's see if there is any other error there. So this is the list node, cannot find symbol. So a and b are the two values. Let's check it out. Should not be an issue. So let's check how we can get this value. New priority queue. We haven't put these things. Yeah, seems like that was the issue. We missed this sign. So let's go ahead and submit. Yeah, it's accepted. So that's how you solve this merge case sorted list problem. If you have any questions or comment about this solution, leave a comment below. Feel free to like and share the video. You can subscribe to my channel to get the latest update.